Welcome everybody to the sketchbook tour of Doom and Despair. And I say that because I've had this sketchbook for about 3 years now, and it has been with me through some of the worst times of my life, but also some of the happiest, but most importantly, some of the worst. So you also get to see how I changed as an artist while going through some art block and, the usual whatever. So on the cover, I have a Hasna and Ren sticker that I made at Lightbox Expo. They had this station where you could print them out, and I have this Hokusai sticker that came in a little booklet, and obviously Usagi. But other than that, I like to keep my sketchbooks a bit bare just because I like the clean vibe, and I also like the color. And you might notice that there are about 27 pages that I did not fill up all the way, and I don't want to hear anybody complain about the fact that it's not actually finished, because it is finished to me. I want to say goodbye to the memories I hold in this and kind of start with a fresh slate, because I just had this sketchbook for so long. So without further ado, let's get into it. I have to skip the first page. It's confidential. So, first real page. I bought the sketchbook in San Diego, specifically the Blick in Little Italy. So me and my friends, we went on an Amtrak trip down, and we kind of explored the city in a day. So overall, it was a really fun adventure, but it's a bit ironic because right now I'm only still friends with one of the people who I went on this trip with. So it's a bit bittersweet. Next page. So a lot of the pages are filled with random movie tickets and receipts because I kind of wanted a place to put them. And what other better place besides your sketchbook, right? On this page, we have some doodles of Hasna and a doodle that my friend made. I really like his style. And over here, it's baby Hasna. He looks very round and very sweet, but I don't know if I totally go with this design in the future. I was just trying to fill it out. On this side are some of my OCs from middle school. It is a fantasy story that I have been working on for so long. I still want to do it one day, but I was trying to re-envision their designs. So this guy is a knight. I drew up some little thumbnail sketches of his outfits. So this is the prince character, and I just had a bunch of names written out because I was thinking about basing him off of Mongolia or fantasy Mongolia in my story because I think the culture is pretty interesting, but I'm still not sure. But funny story about this, I wrote about it for a creative writing course one time, and then everybody compared it to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it was not. Oh my god. To be fair, the story was a little similar, at least the prince's story, so that's why I really need to change it. Okay, on this page, it's really not much. A lot of the beginning pages of the sketchbook don't really have full drawn illustrations because I never really had the time to draw outside of for class, so every time I did draw on this, it was just to blow off some steam or kind of doodle nonsense, as you can see, and I had a lot of art block too. This page, I think I was sketching out something for a video game that I was trying to make, and then, oh my gosh, I'm a big fan of Lord Athelstan and Yanners. I love their dynamic. They're so funny and really helped me through a lot of tough times in college. But I was watching their VOD, specifically the one where they were making food, I believe, and let's just say cinematic genius going on in this bit. And then this page, I loved drawing. I love drawing Hasna just doing things that I was doing. So basically me at my desk, toiling away at work. And then Ren looking like a little ball of sunshine. And then, ooh, on this page, we have one of the first renditions of Corey. I was trying to go for the how do I put this? The edgy kind of punk aesthetic. And I think I remember I wanted to make them as conventionally attractive as possible, which did work, unfortunately, in my favor. I say unfortunately because I didn't want them to outmog every single other character. But in a way they kind of do. Then over here, I have some notes that I was trying to understand their personality. And I think it's really good when you're developing a character to write out dialogue that they might say, which helps you establish like their voice and how they speak. So I wrote, ooh, this is kind of emo. What's the point if I'm destined to fail? Might as well just do whatever I want. So edgy. Oh my god. Anyway, this is their outfits for that one chapter where they go, they end up in detention. And I was really happy with how these came out. I don't really draw like this size, like kind of like sketches often, but I think it's really good. I should really do it to understand outfits better. But over here, it says, note, Ren tried too hard to look good for detention. On this page, we have a bunch of doodles of Hasna. I think I was looking at random Pinterest references. That's why we have this really weird pose. I think it was like a lady looking up but backwards, right? But I didn't really understand the perspective, so we get this horror. And then on this page is another OC from middle school. She's definitely one of my favorites. I draw her a lot. I've also tried to redo her outfit like several times, but this was kind of just a street style random amalgamation from my mind. And then, ooh, this movie. I was a big fan of this book. I binged it in one day, and that's saying a lot for somebody who doesn't really read books. So I was really excited to see the movie when it came out, but it was mid. It was freaking mid. But besides that, oh yeah, my friend was really into cars, so I drew him as a car OC. And then we have some more random notes from, I believe I was taking a video game like design class. And on this side, another panel from the old blooming season that I was thinking out. Oh my god, it is so cringe. And I say that lovingly, okay? What was I thinking? If you're a good fit for me or not, it's my choice to decide, right? Like, bro. Okay, whatever. Next page. It's really messy, this section. You can tell I was like really burnt out and I didn't know what I was doing. And then you have a random doodle of Asuka. I was rewatching Ava, I believe. And I think that kind of reflects my mental state at the time, because you only rewatch Ava if you're going through something. Next page. We have some doodles from this one video game I was working on, and it is something I submitted to an exhibit that we had. Like every year there's a undergraduate exhibit, so I made this game based on my own feelings about asexuality. It was very complex, and I think it's not really something I can explain in a few sentences, but it gets a bit saucy. It was a kind of a way of me explaining the feeling of being attracted to somebody or feeling a pull towards something, but not necessarily being able to give your all in that situation. Like, you really want to chase after intimacy because it feels like everybody, like, that is the norm, right? But in a way, you're kind of a shell of yourself or a puppet. And then there's more like dialogue and scenes from that. And then, oh, on the right, I just finished Final Fantasy X, and I played the original version on my PlayStation. I played halfway in high school, and then I finally bought a copy again, and then I finally finished it. So I wanted to do one of those scenes where like people painterify, that's not the right word, they redraw like scenes from video games. I see people do it a lot with like Legend of Zelda, but yeah, that never happened. Also, ooh, some sketches from that one monarch butterfly illustration that I did. And then over here we have some more blooming season sketches. There's Rowan, looking cute, but also Corey and Hasna, ever emo as always. It's interesting because in their first rendition, I think their dynamic was a bit more undefined, or it was made so that Hasna was the one who kind of was in the wrong in that situation. But in the current version, I decided to flip it because it just made more sense, and I wanted to base it off of like particular things that had happened to me. But I think it's also unique because I don't think Hasna is devoid of doing, of course he's like a complex character, but just because he was wronged in the current version, I wanted to show that he was capable of hurting other people, even though not always intentional like Jamie, and that sometimes it was a cycle. I hope that makes sense, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just read Blooming Season. Okay, on this page, it was Leap Day, very special. I don't know why all my friends were together for that day. I think we were doing something, but I had them all sketch a little doodle. And then my one friend, who's really goated, she has a few more sketches in this book. I'll tag her. Oh, by the way, this doesn't her. Like, she doesn't look like this, but she drew this. Next, ooh, I have a Dune Part 2 ticket in IMAX. Honestly, if I was not dragged into watching this, I probably would not have seen it. But it was alright. And then some more doodles. I was referencing some people off of Pinterest. And then Corey makes an appearance again. The Perfect Days ticket right here. This was actually a very beautiful movie. I liked how it was like just unique and wasn't really trying to be like a crazy story, and the ending kind of made me cry, low-key. Ooh, okay. On this page, I have some doodles of the characters from Merry Marbling, written by Penke. I'm a big fan of this webtoon artist. I love the way they draw. Specifically, like, I think they render the hair and folds in a very specific way. Also, the anatomy is very unique. Not that it's like a panty and stocking type of anatomy. It's not like cartoonish, but I think they have a very specific style. I also read their other webtoon called Pawn Snail Robber or something like that, but I'm a big fan. However, they suffer from the disease of when the couple gets together, the story becomes boring. I think both of them had this problem. So I never finished it, but I still liked them up until that point. And this page is basically a huge collage of a back-to-back movie marathon I did with an acquaintance where we watched all the Spider-Man movies. I think they brought it back to AMC for like a special anniversary event. And also there was a Spy X Family showing at the same time, so we doubled up. But yeah, this was really fun. I love Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I Will Die on the Hill. I think is the best one. I don't care what anybody else says. Over here, I just... It's so funny how bare this page is, but this is a character from the manga Kindergarten Wars, and it is about a bunch of like assassins that are the teachers for a kindergarten, specifically for like kids that are in high profile families, so they're targeted by a lot of people. But the story is really good, and I think a lot of people should read it because it's very sweet and wholesome, but also, you know, has everything going on. And then on this side, the Go family portrait. Some of these details are a bit flexible. I don't plan on changing them that much, but I did rework Ren's brother's design. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to get a feel of his family and make sure I knew what was going on. Okay, On this page are some turnarounds of Corey's family. I'm really bad at drawing like older people, so I wanted to give them all unique facial structures. I think that shows off the best when you draw side profiles. But I don't know, I really liked this page, and I kind of wish I would do more studies like this, but yeah, man, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. This side is a map of the lab that they go to, Hassan and Ren, at the very end of the old blooming season. I drew this out because I wanted to 3D model it and use it as a background, which was so time consuming and just, wow, I can't believe I did that. But over here, no comment. This is a character design for my senior capstone project. It was a bunny knight. That's my first idea for it. And then over here, I was a summer RA for a program that was happening at my school, and I did it with a bunch of my friends, so there are some doodles from them. And then some more Hassan doodles, as always. And then some sketches of some of my fellow RAs here. And then this side is a page you might have seen already because I featured it in my redoing my OC style video. So yeah, I'm not going to go much into it, but this is the point in which I decided to revamp their aesthetic, their character designs. And this is also a little sketch of Rowan. She looks really cute. But yeah, I didn't bother to fill up the rest of the page. Oh, and these were the notes for that video. Over here, we have some chibi versions of Hassan and Ren. I'm really bad at drawing chibis, or more so, I don't think I have a unique chibi style, so I was trying to establish that with all these little doodles. I really like this one. I think this is the best one. And then this side, hey, I was referencing this off of Pinterest, and I want to make something clear. I do not believe all your characters need to have a six-pack. This was just drawn for shits and giggles, and it's just super unrealistic, and Hasna does not have the time or energy to be working out that often, so... Okay, at this point, this is like a newer version of Jamie. She is, out of all the characters, I think she looks the most similar to her version in the original, but I don't think that is that good. As in, I wish I spent more time kind of establishing her style a bit more, because I think she dresses the most plainly out of everybody. And in a way, that is also a form of characterization, because some people don't want to bother dealing with fashion, and that's perfectly valid. They just dress for comfort. But I still think I want to make her look a bit more unique in comparison to the other casts, moving forward. And here are some sketches from the cat face scene in the reboot. So with this sketch, I was envisioning Kion with a different hairstyle. So I drew her with this curly hair, but I think one of my friends said that she looked like Hasna a bit, which is funny because I don't really see the resemblance, other than the fact that they both have curly hair. But yeah, I busted out my Prismacolors that I bought, or I think they were gifted to me all the way back in middle school. I really wanted to add more color into my sketchbook because it's been pretty bare so far. And then I think this is the start of my senior year of college. So there are these two movies I went to see. Pacific Rim, it was my first time seeing it, and it high-key freaked me out. It really, the parts in which some of the people died at the beginning kind of was like, wow, this is really intense. But the movie is great. And then Joker, I hardly know her. Let's just take a few seconds to admire this. Right. My friend drew this. Again, her tag. I don't think this is too much for YouTube, but I really hope that they don't come after me. But yeah, just some sketches. And then, I watched Look Back, and at the beginning of my senior year, I was already going through something, and I kind of felt lost in terms of how I related to my own art. So when I watched this movie, it really reminded me of like what it's all for. And yeah, like I cried a lot at the end of the movie. It was just, yeah, I think everybody can relate to that though. If you're an artist and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And then we have Hasna Bog, as always, some sketches from acquaintances, not friends with this person anymore, but this is one of my good friends. I think this is like a Valorant character that they drew. So this spread was fully dedicated to re-envisioning Kyone's hairstyle. One of my biggest gripes with the original is that I never put much thought into how I styled Kyone's hair, and I feel like that's really important. It made me really frustrated because I felt like as she was one of the only black characters, I kind of like did it really haphazardly, and that's also part of the reason why I changed her from having blue eyes to brown eyes, even though I know some people miss it. So yeah, I did some more research, but the style I ended up going with was kind of inspired by a few girls that I shared a class with. I really liked the way they braided their hair, and then they had these like strands at the end that were undone, and it was really pretty. I also thought about giving her a boyfriend so I could kind of explore her asexuality, but I think that's something I might do in the future. I'm not quite sure if I'll fit it in, but I think I used this design for one of the characters in Penguin Weekly though. And this is like a meh page. Me and my friends went to Lightbox Expo, right? So we were just doodling in line, and these are like from figure drawing. Oh. More figure drawing. And this was like a character design panel. I met this little guy. He has a very specific vibe to him, but I don't know how to put it. And then I bought these washi tapes from this artist, Pawn Shop Ghosts. I really like their aesthetic. They were like one of the only people selling Kingdom Hearts merch, so I had to buy it. So this page is kind of filled with some unsavory memories. Yeah, you can tell here, get a grip dog. But yeah, I was just drawing some yaoi to cope with the feels, with the vibes. Another page. Hasna dripped out. He's wearing a jacket that I actually got from a thrift store. It's a dream jacket in a way, because I was really obsessed with leather and buckles, and I think I still am, because like, you can see it in almost like all of his jackets from here on out. It's kind of funny. And then on this page, I really wanted to fix Hasna's eyes. Specifically, I wanted to make them unique to himself because I felt like they were not very consistent every time I drew him. So I settled on this sort of like downturn with like a V at the bottom, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks because I think it suits his personality as well. Okay, this page, oh, my sister drew this. Reference to I was a big MapleStory player back in middle school. Me and both of my sisters were really into MapleStory. But here, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I was obsessed with Shadow. This was my gateway drug into Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay? To say I felt things for this anthropomorphic hedgehog was an understatement. Drawing from an acquaintance. Shadow in a car. I'm not very good at drawing cars. Minecraft movie. It was pretty good. Oh my god. The scenes with like Jason Momoa and Jack Black. Jeez Louise. Anyway, Rowan looking cute. I was really obsessed with flip phones. I still am. I wanted a dumb phone for a really long time just because I like the aesthetic. But I also think, you know, the modern phone is like a portal into hell, in a way. On this side, we have some more sketches, and I bought 2 different Blackwing pencils. One of them is the Blackwing Natural, and one of them is the 602, so I was comparing them. And this is where my love for the 602 started. As you can see, this pencil is used down to a nib. There's not much left of it, and I will be buying a new one soon. But you can tell I really love this pencil because it just looks so creamy and it's very fun and easy to draw with. I recommend it to anybody who likes pencils. I don't know. I don't have much to say about these. They're just doodles. Oops. Okay, over here. Oh my god, my very first sketches of the magical girl story that I've had in the back of my head. I won't say too much about the plot, but it is about a girl who's very depressed and a magical girl who has come to save her in a way. And they fall in love, but have some difficulties. The story is pretty dark, and I think it's going to be pretty different to what I usually produce with Blooming Season. So I'm really taking my time to develop it, and I want to make it like traditionally on ink and paper. So that'll be fun. Over here, some more doodles. I was trying to get the side character down for that one girl. I don't really have names for them yet. That's like how beginner level the story is still. But yeah, and then these two guys, you know them. This is their outfits from that one anniversary drawing. Ooh, over here, my descent into Tedo madness. I listened to Bird Brain by Jamie Page and I was like, oh my god, who is this diva? I was so obsessed. I think she has an appeal to her that is kind of unique out of the other like Vocaloid and Utao, or maybe I'm just swept up in the Tedo wave that's happening. I know some people are kind of mad that Tedo's gaining like a lot of popularity right now. They're like, oh my gosh, what about Gooby? What about Luca? What about like Rin? Like they're forgetting them. Nah, listen, let's just support all of them. Why are we pitting all these bad bitches against each other? Am I right? Anyway, next page. Another Tedo looking as swagalicious. This is a random side profile. I think I was going to turn it into a bigger illustration, but I didn't. And then this says, I had a dream about someone who doesn't exist again. They really felt real this time, though. I can't shake the feeling that I lost somebody when I woke up. Food for thought. Okay, this is one of my favorite pages in the entire sketchbook. I think I really popped off with my use of the Blackwing 602. I had to say it. But I don't know, it's very soft and just like a tender scene. I'm not sure if it would like come up again in the future, but it's more of just like a vibe. Okay, some more anatomy practice. I'm not sure if this was inspired by the free run trend that was happening, but I just wanted to draw this angle. And then you'll notice there's some like a lot of patches of blue. That's because I had to cover up all the instances of somebody's name in my sketchbook. And then here, oh my god, I had no idea that if you put tape on movie tickets, it completely blurs out like the text on it. So word to the wise, just do backwards tape. I mean tape on the back of your tickets if you were to put them into anything. And then I have some Ayari sketches. I'm not sure if these were my first sketches of her, but I was trying to get a feel of her hair. I was kind of on the fence of giving her that braid or have it be slightly different because it is a bit reminiscent of the typical anime dead mom braid or like side ponytail. But I don't know, I feel like it matches her personality, so whatever. Do you guys know about the bean? It's like a way to like loosen up your wrist, I guess, when you're drawing. And some more. Every time I'm like a little art blocked, I just draw like references from Pinterest. So that's that. This is very bare. Over here, I visited a relative in Atlanta and I bought some art supplies from Blick. This is like my first time getting Posca pens and I always wanted them, but my paper is not the best for it. And then this sketch, I'm also not the biggest fan of it because I think Hasna's facial proportions are a bit off. It doesn't really look like him, but I thought his eyes were nice, at least. Some more movie tickets. And then on here, oh yeah, TW, self-harm, but I was just trying to have a reference for like the placement so that it was like, you know, just even or consistent every time I drew them. And then Hasna, swag, some more doodles. Yeah. I noticed every time I flip a page and there's something a bit risque, it's always on the right side, so I have to talk about it after while not addressing it. But anyway, 85 cinnamon roll. It's so freaking good, but they don't have it anymore. I think it might be seasonal. I drew Bren eating it. I like his little expression here. And then zoom up of the cinnamon roll. I think at this point I was like, okay, I need to make I want to put more effort into making my sketchbook a bit more aesthetic and fill up the pages because there's a lot of blank space in some. And this, well, I just think, you know, you have to appreciate beauty for what it's worth. And sometimes it's not always about what's happening. It's about the aesthetic. Do you understand? Right. Okay, next page. So I was trying to, you know how in Look Back, if you read the manga, Fujimoto uses a lot of like cross-hatching, like sketchy vibes, but it also looks really hollowed out. And I know I didn't quite copy that, but I was trying to understand how to get that same emotion. And yeah, it didn't really work out. If you know that one image of the horse looking at the other horse, that's that. And then in here, I have a little drawing of Ren. Turned out really cute. I really like the way I drew the eyes in this. I want to draw stuff like this more. And then of course, I believe this was the end of 2025, so I drew a little celebratory sketch of the two, and I really like how it turned out. So this page, I was trying to make use of some of the tags that I got from like a bunch of like Taobao clothes that I bought, and I really like the way a lot of small fashion brands in China have a very unique sense of identity or brand identity. I think this brand was called Frou Frou, but I love how it's like a little t-shirt, so I turned it into like a shoujo style girl. And then this side, I have this doodle of Hasna, and it says favoritism shows specifically because I realized at this point I was getting way too focused on Hasna. In a way, it was almost like tunnel vision, where I felt like he was very developed in comparison to everybody else, but I wasn't really taking the time to flesh out like Ren, for example. And it kind of drove me up the wall because I felt as if I was not giving like Ren a proper level of depth to him, basically. Side tangent, I was a huge fan of Gintama back in middle school, and every time Kagura ate the pickled seaweed, I was like, oh my god, I need to eat what she's eating, because she described it as like super sour, right? I love sour food. For the longest time, I searched for it in every single Asian grocery store I went to, and I just could never find it until recently I saw it at a Mitsuwa. So I bought it, and low-key, it was not that good. I mean, it was decent. It was not like bad, but it was not as sour as she made it seem, so I felt really baited. I got baited by her. Oh my god. But hey. And then this page, going back into the whole Ren ego death, I'm not sure what I'm doing, crash out. I was trying to draw out or like write down some of my notes about him, and I felt as if there are a lot of times where I feel like I don't have a good grasp on my characters despite having wrote about them for so long. And I feel like this is really normal because it also reflects your mental state. Maybe if you feel like you don't have a good grasp of reality, or you're not in like a good spot mentally, of course you're not going to be able to write the best or have the capacity to have more insight for things like writing. So I was kind of going through a rut. So this page, I ended up turning it into a full-on illustration, but I feel like it doesn't really make sense out of context. The idea is that, Hasna feels as if he's done a lot of wrong in his life, or he's left a lot of negative impacts in other people's lives. So he kind of feels as if he is a fundamentally bad person. But Ren chimes in to say that, whether good, whether bad, he's still alive, and he has the right to exist just as much as anybody else does. So I just wanted to make a little doodle based off that. I know it's a bit dark though. Next page, I went to mini golf with a high school friend, and during this time I also went to Anime Los Angeles. It was my first time going to a convention all on my own, and I had a lot of fun, but I also bought a lot of stuff. But specifically this one random fortune slip, and it was January, so it was the start of the year of the horse, and I don't really believe in any of this stuff. It's more like it is just fun. It's fun to think about, and it's kind of helps you recontextualize your life and give you just like a way to like ground your mind, right? But anyway, I got the freaking misfortune slip, and if you know anything about horses, the year of the horse, I was born in 2002. Wait, yeah, I was born in 2002, guys. So this is like a really messed up year for me. Like my luck is down, my aura's down, everything's freaking down. So, hey, I don't know. We still keep winning, keep pushing through. And I read that if you keep the misfortune slip, and you keep it safe and protected, then it is a way for you to ward off the negative energy. So I just did it, just in case. And then on this side, we have some sketches of what I wanted Corey to look like in the present day, because we only seen their high school version so far. And again, I was going for a grunge aesthetic. At this point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to fully make them lean into femme. But I was playing along with long hair. I knew for sure I wanted them to have super long hair, but it was a bit hard to understand the difference between Corey and Hasna's style, because obviously they have very similar interests, but I wanted them to be unique to themselves. And then on this page, we have some scenes that I want to draw in the future. Low-key, some spoilers, I'm not quite sure, because it's gonna look a bit different, but it's Ren and Corey. I wonder how they have met, or what they're talking about. Who knows? And then here, this is when I was leaning more into the femme aesthetic. There's some edgy emo dialogue. It's not like anything would have changed, but you know that, right? I probably would have hated you less. Ugh, bruh. Anyway, I drew Hasna in this jacket that I saw on Pinterest, and I was really obsessed with it. This was a while ago, obviously, though. Recently, I came across this jacket again on Taobao, and you know what I did? I freaking bought it, and it's so sick. I'm so happy with it. But yeah, this is also a point in which I was getting more comfortable with rendering in pencil, and I'm really proud of this drawing right here, especially the way I rendered his hair. I feel like the gradient from black to light is very well done, and it's also very creamy. On the next page, I drew Corey with a similar rendering style that I did, and I think it turned out pretty good. This is them in high school, And then on the next page, I gave them a very Jane Remover-esque outfit, but I'm still not sure if they were entirely dressed like this in the present, and I would make their hair a bit longer, but yeah, I also really wanted to make sure they had tattoos because I felt like that really fit. So I put these X's. I decided on putting X's like over their joints, so it kind of looked like they were a doll put, and you can like pull apart their limbs in a sense. But yeah. So the next page, I drew some life studies of my mom while she was gardening because she wanted me to accompany her. And then on this page, it is a little doodle of a comic, and I really want to get into the practice of drawing more tiny comics because I have so much dialogue in my head, but it kind of just gets lost to the wind because I never write anything down. This was an idea about Hasna looking very different in high school versus now, and how that kind of relates to the way you see yourself and the way you dress. But I'm not the biggest fan of Ren's response over here, so I definitely need to change it. And then, okay, some lore drops. This is Ren's ex-boyfriend in high school. He is very heavily inspired by this one character from Bug Ego, which is absolutely, like actually, genuinely, might be my favorite manga of right now. It is so good. It is written by One, which is the same author as Mob Psycho and One Punch Man. But I think One might be one of my favorite authors of all time. Like, I really respect his character writing and also his sense of humor. This manga is just, oh my god, I could glaze it for forever, but I'm gonna draw fan art, I swear. So we have this guy, and I think in a way his personality was a bit similar to Hasna's, where he was very quiet and kind of nerdy, but they fell out because like they just didn't really feel the spark. They realized they were better off as friends, so they are still friends to this day, and it's very chill, very calm ending. On this side, this is the point where I was getting deep into hyperpop, specifically Jane Remover, and I got really into this one venturing song called Sister, so I think it fits for this aesthetic. But yeah, this is Corey. Over here we have some more pencil sketches of Ren. I was just having fun and I wanted to make him look super pretty, you know, the usual. And then at this side I was testing out these stickers that I made. So the story is I was doing a stamp rally for Niji Fest, right? And I ordered a bunch of stickers, but they didn't come in time, so I was kind of freaking out. And I decided to print them out at home, but I wasn't sure if they looked like up to par or whether I needed to seal them with like another like sheet of vinyl. So I was testing that out. And then over here was the actual sticker that came, and then a one my friend printed out for me. So I was just trying to see all the different types. And then another housing sketch. And then over here, I was doodling with my friend Marsh, who is also a webtoon creator. So we were like swapping our sketchbooks to each other and drawing each other's OCs. So they drew Hasna and Ren. And I also drew their OCs, which I'll put on the screen. And then over here, again, I was just testing out my stickers. Technically, I did draw these. But yeah, it's not really like me drawing in the sketchbook. But I wanted to make use of all of the messed up samples that I made, so I just put them in here. And then we have, of course, some more Hasna sketches. And then this, I believe, is the final illustrated page of the sketchbook. I drew this literally a few days ago, so it's Hasna in this cool outfit. I think I would draw him more in this style when later in the story when he feels a bit more comfortable, like showing his arms, of course. And then on the right side is a new character that I will be introducing very soon. So also a bit of some spoilers. But I'm not totally sold on her like hairstyle. But it's my first time. I wanted to make her like a butch character. So it's my first time feeling it out and trying to understand the aesthetic. So yeah. And then this is the very end. I wrote the date and it says, "This is the end of this sketchbook. Though not entirely filled to the brim, it has seen and been loved enough these past 3 years. I thank it for all it's given me and for documenting my growth as an artist and person. Goodbye, Space Penguin." So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked this video, and if you want me to do more sketchbook tours, I have like 10 billion from high school and middle school, and I would love to share them. So yeah, let me know. And as always, thank you to my patrons, thank you to everybody who supports me, and bye bye, see you in the next one.